Ever wondered how some people always seem to win arguments? Today, we're diving into the psychology behind it. We're going to spill the tea on how to navigate those heated discussions like a boss. Stay tuned as we reveal the top 10 phrases smart people use to come out on top in any debate. Get ready to take notes, because you're about to become the ultimate argumentation champion. Let's get started. Alright, let's kick things off with a classic. I understand your point, but this phrase acknowledges the other person's perspective, which is crucial. But here's the magic: that little but is your cue to steer the conversation in a new direction. Imagine this. Your friend's arguing that pineapple on pizza is an abomination. You could hit them with, "I understand your point, but have you considered that the sweetness of the pineapple complements the saltiness of the cheese and ham?" The key here is to be smooth. Don't make it seem like you're dismissing their point entirely. Instead, you're building a bridge between their perspective and yours. This phrase is all about finding common ground and then gently guiding the conversation towards your side of the argument. So, the next time you find yourself in a debate, channel your inner diplomat and hit them with the, "I understand your point, but..." Next up, we've got a phrase that's all about making the other person do the heavy lifting. Can you explain why you think that? Often, people haven't fully thought through their arguments. This phrase forces your opponent to articulate their thoughts clearly. As they start to explain themselves, you can listen attentively, nod along, and maybe even throw in a thoughtful or two. But here's the catch. You're not just passively listening. You're actively searching for inconsistencies, contradictions, or straight-up plot holes in their argument. And when you find them, you can gently point them out with a puzzled expression. This phrase is all about exposing the weaknesses in their argument by simply making them talk. It's like holding up a mirror to their logic and saying, "Let's see what you've got." Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, some people are just determined to cling to their opinions. When you've reached a stalemate, it's time to whip out the ultimate argument diffuser. Let's agree to disagree. This phrase is anything but a surrender. It's a strategic retreat, a way to bow out gracefully while still maintaining your dignity. Think of it like this. You're in a heated debate about whether unicorns are real. You've presented all the logical arguments, yet they're still clinging to their belief. That's when you say, "You know what? Let's just agree to disagree." It's a way to end the conversation on a civil note without letting it escalate into a full-blown shouting match. Sometimes, walking away from an unwinnable argument is more impressive than stubbornly holding your ground. What evidence do you have to support that? Facts over feelings. Opinions are like armpits. Everyone's got 'em, and sometimes they stink. Smart people back up their opinions with cold, hard facts. This phrase is your secret weapon against flimsy arguments built on nothing but hot air and hearsay. It's like that moment in a courtroom drama when the lawyer demands to see the evidence. Asking for evidence is a powerful way to separate fact from fiction. It forces the other person to justify their claims, to show you the receipts, so to speak. More often than not, they'll come up short, leaving you looking like the voice of reason and logic. Because at the end of the day, facts are stubborn things, and no amount of passionate arguing can change that. I see where you're coming from. Empathy is your secret weapon. Arguments can get heated, and aggression rarely wins arguments. That's why smart people know that a little empathy goes a long way. This phrase is about acknowledging their perspective, even if you don't share it. Imagine this. You're arguing with your friend about whether cats or dogs are superior. Instead of launching into a tirade, you could say, "I see where you're coming from. Dogs are known for their loyalty and unconditional love. By acknowledging their perspective, you're disarming them. You're showing them that you're listening, trying to understand, and respecting their opinion. When people feel heard and respected, they're more likely to listen to what you have to say. It's like building a bridge of understanding, creating a space for a productive and respectful conversation. That's an interesting perspective. The power of subtle suggestion. Winning an argument is sometimes about planting seeds of doubt without being confrontational. This phrase is like saying, "I've never thought of it that way before, but now that you mention it, there might be something to what you're saying." The word interesting is key here. It's neutral, but with a hint of curiosity. It's like you're suggesting that their perspective is different, unique even, but not necessarily right. For example, if someone's arguing that pineapple on pizza is a culinary masterpiece, you could say, "That's an interesting perspective. I've always found pineapple on pizza to be a bit controversial." By using the word interesting, you're subtly suggesting that their perspective is just one of many. It's a way to gently challenge their viewpoint without being confrontational. Sometimes arguments get stuck in a rut. That's when you need to shake things up, shift the perspective, and use this phrase. Can we look at this from a different angle? This phrase is all about getting unstuck and exploring new possibilities. It shows that you're open-minded and willing to consider different perspectives. Let's say you're arguing about the best way to spend a Saturday night. Instead of arguing about whose idea is better, you could say, "Can we look at this from a different angle? Maybe we could do something that combines both our interests." By suggesting a different angle, you're not dismissing their ideas or forcing your own. You're proposing a new way of looking at the situation, one that might lead to a more satisfying solution for both of you. Sometimes, people make these grand pronouncements, and you're just sitting there like, "Hold up, how did you even get there?" That's the perfect time to hit them with this gem. How did you come to that conclusion? This phrase encourages them to retrace their steps and show you the logic that led them to their conclusion. It helps you identify the faulty assumptions and flawed reasoning in their argument. For example, if someone claims that all politicians are corrupt, you could ask, "How did you come to that conclusion? What evidence do you have to support such a broad statement?" This forces them to justify their claim and provide concrete examples. Often, when people are forced to articulate their reasoning, they realize that their arguments might not be as airtight as they thought. Sometimes arguments are like runaway trains. They just keep picking up speed, emotions are running high, and logic has flown out the window. That's when you need to hit the brakes and use this phrase. Let's take a step back and think about this for a second. This phrase is like a timeout in a basketball game. It gives everyone a chance to catch their breath and approach the situation with a clearer head. When emotions are running high, it's hard to think straight, and we often say things we later regret. This phrase is all about de-escalating the situation. It's about shifting from a reactive mode to a reflective mode. Taking a step back allows you to see the bigger picture and find a more constructive way forward. We've arrived at the final and arguably the most powerful phrase on our list. What would you do in my position? This one's a game changer because it forces the other person to step into your shoes and see the situation from your perspective. Empathy is the key to winning arguments, not in the sense of crushing your opponent, but in truly connecting with them. Let's say you're arguing with your parents about wanting to pursue a career in the arts. Instead of getting defensive, you could ask, "What would you do in my position? If you were passionate about something and knew it was your calling, wouldn't you want to pursue it, even if it meant taking a risk?" By asking this question, You're inviting them to see the world through your eyes. It's a powerful way to bridge the gap and find common ground. And that's a powerful way to reach a resolution that respects both perspectives. And there you have it. The top 10 phrases smart people use to win arguments. Remember, it's not about being right all the time. It's about being persuasive and engaging in thoughtful debate. Next time you find yourself in a debate, try these out and see how they work for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful content. Comment a dove emoji to signify peace and harmony. See you next time.